Welcome to the Fandom Outpost, your podcast for all things pop culture.
Welcome, everybody, to the Fandom Outpost, special edition, do I dare say. As always, I'm 1/3 your host. I am Mark.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Bob. Hi, everybody, for our special episode on Carl Weathers tonight.
We lost a truly legendary actor, although some people argue with me about that, but
they're wrong.
Yeah, kind of crows they have. Carl Weathers passed away this past, 2 days ago? 3 days ago, I think. And of course, everybody knows and reveres him for Apollo Creed. We here at the channel, he has been I guess there are certain guys that we always kind of reference lines and talk about things like that, and he's one of them. So he always pops up in our zeitgeist of throwing out lines and all this kind of weird stuff, you know.
I guess we'll just kind of go through his career a bit and stop and park on certain moments that in his career of his filmography that stuck out with us. I know we all have different recollections of our memories, like you're saying, with all these good lines and things, and it's really sad. Mark, you texted us when it happened on Friday when he passed, and that one was kind of a gut punch because, that's just one of those guys we always loved him on our podcast and through our years in the theater and everything when we worked together back in the 80s. And it was definitely one of those characters and one of those actors. He's just a really good guy. He seemed like a good guy. And we all liked him. So
it's really unexpected out of the blue. We've been seeing a lot. We've been seeing a lot more of him lately in, the Mandalorian and other projects. And all of a sudden, he's been making the convention rounds. Regretfully, none of us had a chance to see him at a convention. So
yeah, I think he came to the one, and I opted out because I was trying to find a figure or something that I could have him sign. But then I realized, do I really need to do that? Like, it'd just be cool to go up and talk to him and say hi,
Right.
But I didn't do it. And it's one of those things where you're like, I'll catch it next time.
Yeah. I didn't realize he was that age. I was a little bit surprised to hear how old he was, but he looked great. I know he kept in shape. He was big into fitness, and it showed. He always looked in shape and sharp.
Yeah, he didn't have the aging quality that the aging quality that aging actors have, or they don't realize it's past their time or whatever, or they don't graduate into the more sophisticated adult roles like Grief Karga.
Right.
Just a wonderful role for him to embody at his age. You don't get a lot
of that. It was such a nice surprise to see him show up. I was like, oh crap, that's Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
It's like, so instantly, like, it notched it up, right? It notched that show up.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I want to talk about. That, like, he's got that. My wife used the word gravitas. Like,
yes,
he's got
gravitas.
That. Like, if you see it, like, and Carl Weathers or something like that, you're like, oh, okay. Like, it's like, ooh, this might be a little bit cooler than you thought it was going to be, or cooler than it was, or whatever, stuff like that. It was really tough when I found out. Being the cinephiles that we are and the huge Rocky fan, speaking of, that, I was growing up. So it really was like that, where you, like, I don't know how you guys did it, but, like, I paused for a minute and I was like, wait, what? So I had to sit back for a few minutes. I didn't even want to open my phone. That's just one of those things. I just felt like I had to share that, though.
Yeah, it really stinks that he's gone. I know he was in a lot of those Super Bowl kick thing, the promotion with Rob Gronkowski. That's the one. Yeah, and he's been on the motorcycle and stuff, and it's like he was really looking good in those ads, and they're just like they're still out on the air. Well, Star Wars was taking a couple hits, I guess, with
oh my God,
Ray Stevenson,
with Ray Stevenson,
Carl Weathers. Well, Carl Weathers, just kind of looking back, and I was doing a little research and trying to understand his career, how it started and all that. And it looked like he was in some early 70s, like into the blaxploitation type films. A few of those.
Right, Friday Foster. Right.
Yeah, he was a college and professional football player. Studied acting also in college, and always said he always had an eye on acting, and he decided to make the jump and try to get in there, and did a few roles, and lo and behold, he did a tryout for Apollo Creed, and he definitely fought for that role to get in there. He really felt that was his role that he wanted. So good for him that he toughed it out to get in there and get that one, because I think he really embodied that type of
there you go.
actor slash athlete in that movie. He was super built. He had that Muhammad Ali feel. I'm sure that's what it was modeled
swagger,
after.
Yeah.
And
I want you.
He's got some great lines, and even the original Rocky, and it could have been just a cardboard character, but he made something out of that Apollo Creed character. He really kind of took it to another level, I thought.
Right.
And made it very multi-dimensional. It could have, like you said, it could have been a very cardboard character. And those films rely on him to be the charisma, because Rocky is the opposite of the charisma, right? He's got no, especially those early ones, right?
Yeah. Well, if you look, just pausing on Rocky for a minute.
Let's dive into that.
Apollo Creed has the best character arc out of the series. Nobody else, I guess, really has an arc except maybe Rocky. I mean, he does, but it's, if you look at the champion was Apollo Creed. So when he comes in the Philadelphia Spectrum, everybody's cheering him. And that's the first movie, and Rocky's the underdog. When you get to that second movie, my favorite, by the way, you get to that second movie, and his managers actually tell him, if you go after him like this, you'll be the bad guy. He's like, whatever it takes, whatever gets him in the ring. So he kind of has this, I'm the bad guy now because I want to,
smoke him out.
Whatever.
Yeah. You're the man. You're number one. Champ, the best of all time. The girls love you. Men, old people love you. Young people love you. You're the best. You're the man. And he's yours. He's yours. He's yours. This bum shouldn't even be in the same ring with you. I want you to show him who you are tonight. Show him who you are tonight. Stick him.
Yeah, dude, there's a scene in there. I would have loved to have asked him about it, where he's reading hate mail
on the balcony,
on the balcony. And then she's like, can't you just let it go? Excuse me. His wife is like, can't you just let it go? And he just looks at her and he goes, he says something, are you kidding? Or are you for real? And just whips them all up in the air and stuff.
Anybody who knows boxing knows the fight was fixed. This one came from London.
You call yourself the champ. You're a fake. The fight was a fake. Go kill yourself.
Wouldn't you rather play with the children than read hate mail?
How much did you get to carry that bum for 15 rounds? You're a disgrace to your people.
Why can't you ignore it?
Are you serious?
You could just see the frustration on that character's face because he knew he lost the fight, Now, I didn't discover Rocky with Rocky. I got a confession. I discovered it with Rocky
either.
too.
Yeah, we were pretty young.
It was 3 for me.
See it in the theater, right?
Right. So, but I was like, wait a minute, they fought before? You know what I mean? When you kind of, we didn't see stuff on TV back then or whatnot.
Well, two did a nice job of kind of dovetailing, right? They took a few moments of the best parts, and
I discovered Carl Weathers with Force 10 from Navarone.
Oh yeah.
So an early Harrison Ford movie. But Carl Weathers was in that, and you should check it out. It's got a lot of levity. It's not as serious as it's a sequel to The Guns of Navarone, starring Gregory Peck. But the Force 10 has got this levity to it that's kind of funny with the exploding dog poop and stuff like that. So,
right.
So, and Jim, if I'm not mistaken, you and I saw that.
Yeah, we went and saw it. It played upstairs at the Penthouse at the Glow. So
it was good. That's an enjoyable.
Yeah, you're seeing it because Han Solo and Quint are in a movie together, right?
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, these guys.
Wait a minute, Apollo Creed. Well, I didn't know him as Apollo Creed.
Well, yeah, we didn't know it. Well, Rocky 2 followed up. That was the next one that got released right after that. So, and then it was.
He's got a super brief scene, in Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Close Encounters,
That's one of his early credits, right?
He's the military
yeah,
police
and it's
guy.
like
yeah.
it's when Richard Dreyfuss and Melinda Dillon's characters make it out to Wyoming, and he's part of the National Guard. Gives them directions or something. It's really brief.
Right.
And people were
you can see him like you know it's him. Like
100%.
That one it's him.
And people watched that and said, "Well, all of a sudden we turned around and here's this guy. He's a day player or whatever he is." And then boom, Rocky drops, right? And they're like, where did this guy come from, right?
Yeah.
And to speak on Carl Weathers, I'm not trying to disrespect him. He's a television guy. Like if you look at his career, he's got these 3 or 4 blockbusters that are wedged in between just a massively long television career. You know what I mean? So, and he never really graduates back out to movies again after you guys talked about Happy Gilmore, man. I mean, I can talk about that thing. Trivia for those folks at home and for my 2 cohorts here. His very first uncredited appearance was in Magnum Force.
Yeah, I saw that on IMDb.
So, I was like, and I still can't find him.
Really? Is it that small?
Yeah, I've tried. I'm like, oh wait, I don't know. And I'm not. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm blind in my old
probably
age
not
stuff,
a police officer. I'm gonna guess.
No, he's not. He's like a protester, a rioter, or something like that. He's, one of the nameless, faceless few in the background.
I saw his credit in a $6 Million Man episode, so I had to check it out last night real quick. It was an episode in season 3. One of our quarterbacks is missing, I think is the name of it. The episode. And it's really for a $6 Million Man, it's pretty bad as far as Lee Majors directed it, and it's a pretty rough production. I have to say, sorry Lee, but that one was rough to watch. But just seeing Carl Weathers in it, he's kind of one of the henchmen, and it's like a plot against a couple Dick Butkus is in it, Larry Zonka from the Miami Dolphins, a lot of 70s heavy hitters.
My God.
Yeah, it's like they got a bunch of guys together, and they quickly try to kidnap Larry Zonka, who's the star running back, so they could bet on the other team to win. So it's like a plot, and Steve Austin gets rounded up with them, and then they play like an outdoor football game to see if they could make it to the.
Of course they do.
To the van.
Of course
to the van to escape, so he could get back and win the game. So,
oh my God!
Yeah, it's a pretty bad episode, but
I won't even watch that for shits.
I know
giggles.
it was rough, but Carl Weathers was pretty good, and he's just one of the henchmen. But every little line he had, you could just tell he had that little bit of Carl Weathers in it that made it kind of interesting.
I mean, back in the 70s, he was peppered throughout Starsky and Hutch, SWAT, Streets of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, he's all those shows at the time. That's where he cuts his teeth before Rocky comes along, and even after Rocky comes along, he shows up on all that anyways, I'm assuming just to keep working and stuff. You know what I mean?
No, he just seemed to hit. Like when his career would kind of dip theatrically, something would hit and get him back on the radar. It seemed like,
right.
Predator coming up. Well, I'm sure we could talk about that real quick. Then in the 90s, we talked about a little bit together, how it was a lot of TV stuff. And, now the Star Wars stuff was getting him back on the radar a bit.
He did a TV movie that I remember back in the day, The Defiant Ones. And I'm not sure it's a remake of a movie, I think. I apologize. I don't know who did.
Yeah, isn't that like a Tony Curtis and Sidney Poitier movie, I think?
Is that what it is? That's what I thought that was.
Where they escape on a chain gang kind of thing?
And then he gets an actual TV series called Fortune Dane. Like he gets a TV series is in for 6 episodes. And that hits right before Predator. So... And I don't know, you're off at the races after Predator, so come on.
I loved him in Predator. I mean, I wouldn't mind parking on that one for a minute.
Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 were before Predator, strangely enough, which is fine, which, those are the career-defining moments for Apollo Creed with his character.
Right.
You know what I mean? But, yeah, when you get to that Predator, dude, I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's a murderer's row of guys, and he holds his own in that.
Somebody in that interview I mentioned earlier asked him, what were the conditions like filming Predator? Was it really hard? And what was it like? I heard there was a lot of dissension in the ranks and things. And he's like, for the media, it's one way, but for what it was having the weekend off to lay on the beach, hanging out with a bunch of fun guys and in the jungle and doing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he made it sound like it was a lot of fun to do that movie because it was just a bunch of guys having some good fun. And I mean, he plays Dylan, right? In Predator.
Yeah.
He's kind of a little bit of the, he used to be the partner with Dutch, right? But now he's kind of the corporate guy or something.
Yeah. The CIA guy.
The pencil pusher more.
He's got
or something
his own
like
agenda.
that.
And there's
a bit of a rift between them because of it.
Yeah. And arguably 40 years later now, I don't know, what was that, 86?
Yeah, 86, 7.
Predator was 87.
Yeah.
30 years later, the scene that everybody will recognize is that arm slap thing.
Dylan! You son of a bitch. What's the matter? The CIA got you pushing too many pencils? Huh? Had enough?
Make it easy on yourself, Dutch.
Okay.
Never did know when to quit, huh?
Damn good to see you, Dutch. What is this fucking tie business?
Oh, come on. Forget about my tie, man.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's been parodied more times than anybody's ever count. I've said it once or twice in my own life, just goofing around with other people. And, you know, like there's so much testosterone in that movie. Yeah, it's just really crazy, you know.
It's dripping with testosterone.
I gotta mention really quick. So Dylan, played by Carl Weathers, he's just bitching. He's bitching the whole time. And Schwarzenegger, who's Dutch, comes up to him and says, you know, instead of complaining, maybe you should help. So he's like, yeah, right. The very next scene is 4 guys, no shirts, just pulling down the thing, just sweat and muscles. And I got, you know, if I'm John McTiernan, the director, I got to be like, you know, he set that scene going, everybody get their shirt off, go get your pump on, you know, make that shit glistening and sweaty, but I need, you know, 30-second shot. Yeah, of all you guys, you know, just doing that and stuff. So if you ever get the chance, there are great backstories that come out of Predator from all of the cast members.
Yeah, Billy Bear. Yeah, he's
yeah, that dude was crazy. That dude's a psycho.
Yeah, Bill Duke in there.
Yep, Bill Duke.
Yes.
Bill Duke is a gravitas thing. You put Bill Duke in a movie and suddenly you got, oh my God.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Stop. Don't do that to me tonight.
He's all
my
got the
God.
razor. He's a soft.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand it as like snap and stuff. It's like, oh my God. I mean, that is crazy. I ain't got time to bleed.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Oh my God.
There's so many good lines in that one.
There is. That's a phenomenal movie. That's a once in a lifetime movie. And the fact that everybody in there, including even Shane Black, that wrote himself into the movie, like has just great screen presence.
Screen presence.
Everybody
That's a good way to say it. Yeah. Because Schwarzenegger doesn't even carry the movie, really.
No, he doesn't need to. You know, I mean, he gets his big fight, but you know,
everybody gets their time to shine a little bit in there. So,
oh my God,
I thought he looked kind of toned down. Actually, Arnold.
He did when he
Slimmer.
came from whatever he did before that. When he did this one, it was more like compact,
like Raw Deal or something.
He wasn't as bodybuilder
wasn't so
buff.
bloaty.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Why wasn't he in the Expendables? That's like my first thought was. I was like, wasn't he?
We were talking about that off screen,
like,
folks, and
when
we went down a rabbit hole.
When I heard
that.
he passed, I'm like, wait a minute, was he in the Expendables? I thought he was, but then he's not.
So there's no way in 4 movies you couldn't make that work.
I don't. Yeah, there's got to be a story behind that somewhere. Yeah. There's got to be
even a cameo or something. Yeah.
Real quick before we continue down the Expendables, because I want to talk about that. He made a movie called Action Jackson.
Yeah, with Bill Duke.
I love that movie. If I have to pick a favorite Carl Weathers, I love Predator and I love Apollo Creed, but Action Jackson.
Are you action anyway?
I have to catch a cab. Now I got you.
He's a cop who carries no weapon.
This Jackson is so vicious, we don't even let him have a gun.
Yeah! He's a maverick who answers to no one.
You're not to let boy's arm off.
He had a spare.
He's a man who's no talk
I bet I can make you change your mind.
and all action.
How do you like your ribs?
Because that was the Lethal Weapon
baby.
guy. What's his name? Joel Silver and stuff. Yeah, it was his baby,
Joel
man.
Silver.
You know, and those dudes in there were just like, and he's so tough. We don't even get. He's not even allowed to carry a gun, and he doesn't. He gets a gun at the end of the movie to shoot a bad guy.
A nice throwback to Shaft and those kind of things.
Yeah, and it's so over the top, but
set in Detroit.
It's 100% Carl Weathers. Yeah, it was. You're right. A very young, the bad guy from Back to the Future series, the bully dude. I can't think of his name.
The Biff guy?
Marty's nemesis. Yeah, Biff. Very young Biff. He plays one of the cops in Detroit. So, but that's another one that hit at the right time. It's too bad that it did terrible. Like nobody wanted to see that for some reason. But man, if that thing comes on or I'm sitting around, I'll watch that back to front because front to back, I'm like, man, that's a fun one for me.
Yeah.
But back to your Expendables,
let's go back to the Expendables
conversation.
Because
Because
what do you think about that one?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Sylvester Stallone made a very touching. Was it on his Instagram?
I believe so.
I'm not sure where it came out at.
You can find it on YouTube.
Very touching.
Now. It's on YouTube.
Yeah. But you got to think that if they were that kind of buddies, if he was really that much into his life because they realized they made four movies together? Yeah. So in that series spanning 20 years, almost 20 years, that why Stallone didn't give him a call up to be in the Expendables.
Yeah.
Let that just hang out there for a minute.
It was weird.
Somebody's got to have a story about that somewhere, and I don't. So
we may never know.
I don't know what that was because they were getting some D-listers going into those later movies. Not real D-listers.
Jet Li.
Yeah, even Jet Li was like, I'm going to bow out. I don't need to make 4 of them. You know what I mean? So he had good moments in the first 2. Lundgren sure hung around.
What else is he doing?
But I guess the 4th one was supposed to be passing the torch to Jason Statham. That's where the series was going because Stallone's not in it, from what I understand. There's no excuse not to have Carl Weathers up in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Can we touch on some of the comedic parts that
Carl
Weathers had? Because we were all talking over the weekend how one of the most known characters he portrayed was Chubbs Peterson, I guess, from
right.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, I think that introduces him to a whole new generation of people who know him only as Chubbs Peterson, right?
Right.
Yeah. Chubbs would make a cameo appearance in Little Nicky, which is an atrocious movie. If you guys have never seen it, I watched it again just the other day just to see if I remember how bad it was. So Chubbs makes a cameo appearance uncredited in that movie, which is fine. But because I think he gets his revenge in that movie on the crocodile. I think that's where it comes from.
I tried to watch Happy Gilmore. I'm not a huge Adam Sandler fan, and I thought I'll watch it and see what But we could save that for another pod. But Carl Weathers was Carl Weathers was good in it. He was funny. And
I gotta admit, the only thing that's really funny is that stupid arm.
Right.
Oh, that horrible fake hand? Yeah.
The fake hand.
Yeah, and the fingers end up getting broke, and then as the movie goes on, they get broke even more, and he tries to glue them, and it's a good running gag, though. I really think so.
And he's almost like a straight character.
Yeah.
He's almost like a straight man character. He's not, he's not making jokes. He's like, he's serious on getting Adam Sandler's character.
Right.
To do
golf. He's got a thing in there where he's behind Happy.
Yeah.
And they're doing this movement thing.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I do admit I laugh at that. He's like, feel it, baby.
Look at the green. Make contact with the ball. There's no goalie out there to block it. Remember, it's all in the hip. Hey, it's all in. Come on. Work with me now. It's all in the hips. Yeah, it's all in the hips. It's all in the hips.
Get off of me.
Hey, just easing the tension, baby. Just easing the tension.
Well, ease it on someone else.
He's like, what's going on? And it's just funny. He's like, loosen up. You got to loosen up. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's too bad that he did. I don't think he ever got to really explore that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It feels like after Action Jackson, he disappears for a little bit for the 90s. I'm kind of like wondering where he went, and looking at the IMDb, he did a series called Street Justice, which was one of those fledgling, before everybody gets like the WB and UPN. It's one of these kind of shows they make for syndication to give to other, outlets.
Right.
So he does that for a while.
I didn't know he was in the Toy Story universe.
Yeah.
Yes, he was Combat Carl.
Now we're all gonna end up in a box.
Wait, that's it. Jesse, say that again.
Say what? That we're all gonna end up in boxes?
Not us. You. You're gonna get in a box.
What?
Listen, in a few minutes, the delivery lady is gonna come back through that door and take the other boxes, and you're gonna be in one of them. It's the only way to free Woody.
No way. I can't do that. I can't get in a box. I can't. There's gotta be another way.
This is the way. You better snap out of it, soldier. We're running out of time, and you're the only chance we got.
Is that made because of him? Like, is he Combat Carl because he's Carl Weathers? Or because Combat Carl has always been called Combat Carl, and they got Carl Weathers? Like, yeah, I don't know the story behind that.
He was a made-up kind of action, military action figure. So
okay.
I always liked Arrested Development, and I saw that he did a role in that he plays himself.
I
looked it up today, and it's some pretty funny scenes where he's kind of bilking Tobias out of his money.
And Tobias met with Carl Weathers at Burger King.
Thanks for meeting me down there at Burger King. I'm trying to get them to underwrite a new TV project I'm working on. Get some money in exchange for setting a scene here in Burger King.
Well, as long as you don't draw attention to it.
I'm directing an episode of the series Scandal Makers. It's about the Bluth family and your father-in-law's escape from justice. I play the lead. Bounty hunter, name of ice.
Oh, no. You want me to play myself, don't you? I swore I'd not go reality.
No. I already got a great guy named David Tell to play you. I wasn't actually here to ask you to be in it. I'm looking for somebody in your family to sign a release.
I could not betray my family like that.
Come on, man. I got every part cast except for George Sr.
I want that part.
Then sign over the rights. We've got a new soda. Hey, you know that you can get a refill on any drink you want here, and it's free.
It's a wonderful restaurant.
He was actually pretty funny. He was pretty funny in the scenes I saw, but he was good in it. Every time I see something he's in, I always thought he was, like you said, he had the gravitas where you just wanted to watch him.
Yep.
On screen. So,
well, I caught an animated thing the other day on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, it brought me to tears because it was obviously just done by a fan, but it was in the Mandalorian universe. And it was like AI or CGI animated. It was like that. But it was all the Mandalorians. They lined the street, whatever he was mayor of or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
They lined the street. Even he had animated Cara Dune in there. And it was his funeral procession.
Oh.
And it had Din.
Mm-hmm.
Jarin,
Yeah.
he gave a eulogy.
I don't want to watch that.
I'm not going to lie, dude, for a fan to do that, it was incredibly moving. And of course, they got a little Grogu at the end with, kind of making his little cooing sounds and stuff. And it just talked about he may be gone, but we got to carry on his legacy. And I'm like, holy shit.
Well, I expect a statue of him next to IG-11 in the town square, right?
Holy shit, I forgot about that. That would be awesome.
Well, that certainly will impact the future Mandalorian film coming up to some degree. Somewhere they've got to mention it.
Right. It's too bad because, folks, if you listen to our podcast and watch our show, then you're probably a Mandalorian fan. You probably watch Star Wars, but he had good ass scenes in there.
Yeah,
like he got his hands dirty. He was in firefights.
Yeah, I enjoyed him on the show.
Right, and his character has good art, right?
For three, there you go. Jim just said it. For 3 seasons, you got to kind of wait, but he was a dick.
Went from bad guy to good guy.
Grief Karga was not a good guy when we first met him and stuff, So he had a really good character arc, if you will.
I guess the last thing I want to mention before we start wrapping it up, I guess, is in that interview that I saw with him and Dolph Lundgren on stage, somebody asked him, out of all your movies, maybe in particular the Rocky movies, I think, but of all your movies, what was one of your favorite lines? And he had to think about it, and he thought about it, And he says, in Rocky 3 at the end, when we're together in the ring, and Sly says, you want to ring the bell? And he goes, ding, ding.
Ding,
he goes,
ding.
That's his favorite line. I go, that is awesome.
You got to remember now, you fight great, but I'm a great fighter. Huh? You ready?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Stallion, it's too bad we got to get old, huh?
Just keep punching, Apollo. Want to ring the bell?
All right. Ding, ding. Namaste.
That was awesome, dude. That was awesome.
So that's my last memory I want to share, I guess, before we wrap up. I don't know how you guys.
Oh man, no, we leave it at that. That's as good as any. I think that's great.
I'm just going to go ahead and pull up a few things that I haven't seen from Carl in a long time. And I think Force 10 is going to be at the top of my list because I remember that.
Yeah, dude, I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch that. I got to watch that just because I want to see it. I'm probably going to delve into an earlier Rocky as well.
Yeah.
Because I like 2 so much.
I might have to squeeze Predator in there somewhere too. I have a feeling. I'm starting to feel it.
Yes. Carl, we loved you. We loved it. Almost everything we ever saw you in. Even the bad stuff now has great memories. So, R.I.P. Carl Weathers, man.
Yep.
Bob, as always, take us out,
Yep.
dude.
All right, everyone. Follow us at the Fandom Outpost on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere you get your podcast. We really would appreciate a like or a subscription to us. Thanks for listening and watching. So check us out on Spotify, too. See you next episode.
There you go. That's a good ending.
He's hooking. He's hooking. Damn, Rod, come on! What's the matter with you?
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.